Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to see about chemical reactions. In the previous class, you have seen physical changes and chemical changes. So, under chemical changes, we are going to see chemical reactions. Chemical reaction is a process in which some substance change into different substances. That is, substances that start a chemical reaction are called reactants. Substances that are produced in the reaction are called products. Reactants and products can be elements or compounds. You already know about elements and compounds. Elements are the combination of same atoms, whereas compounds are the combination of different atoms. A chemical reaction can be represented by this general equation. Are you seeing the reactants here? The reactants, for example, here given is coal and oxygen. Coal is represented as C, oxygen is represented as O2, whereas carbon is in a solid form and oxygen is in gas form. So here, when the coal and oxygen is reacting, the products formed is carbon dioxide, CO2, which is in a gaseous form, right? A chemical reaction can be represented by this general equation. Reactant gives rise to product. The arrow which you are seeing here gives rise to. The reaction may occur quickly or slowly. For example, metal rusting, candle burning, bananas turning brown, fire extinguisher foaming. This represents the chemical changes we are going to see further. In the chemical change, we have seen the change in color, change in temperature, production of gas and production of a solid. So in the color change, bleaching hair changes its color. Under change in temperature, burning woods produce heat, you can see here, and the production of gas. Dissolving an antacid tablet in water produces gas bubbles. Antacid tablets are nothing but Gelsales tablets which we regularly use. Production of a solid, you have done this activity recently. Adding acid to milk produces solid curds of cottage cheese, which means in your milk curdling activity, you have added a little bit of curd into the liquid milk, and then after few hours you have seen the solidified milk, that is nothing but curd, because of the process fermentation, right? In our daily life we come across boiling, heating, and all those things will be done on the gas stove, right? Furnaces. So here this blue color flame on this gas stove is produced when natural gas burns. Natural gas is nothing but is methane. The cylinders methane. Because of that methane is reacted with oxygen, it will produce carbon dioxide and water, which is a vapor, which is a gaseous form. In our daily life, we eat food, right, to get energy, and we wanted a tasty food, and salt is the source which will add a taste to our food, right? But how the salt is actually produced? It is a combination of sodium and chlorine gas. But when these two are actually reacted, they will be forming into a sodium chloride, which is a table salt which we regularly use in our foods, right? some of the chemical changes that we come across where the chemical reaction takes place. I think in your lockdown period you have been experimenting new dishes, right? You are trying to heat the sugar to make brown sugar out of it, brown sugar out of white sugar, and unfortunately it will not be a brown sugar anymore, but it will be a burnt sugar, which is a combination of carbon, which will gives rise to burnt sugar, that is carbon, and again the vapor, which is a water form but in a gaseous form. In order to switch on the stove, we either use a lighter or else the matchstick. Right? So how does this matchstick starts burning or lighting? It is because, are you seeing the stick here? The matchstick head will actually have a chemical called potassium chlorate as well as combination with glass powder. And where you hold the matchstick, it is actually a wooden splint. When this matchstick is rubbed or struck against the matchbox, what do you think what happens? It is because the matchbox have red phosphorus which will be combining with the potassium chlorate as well as the glass powder, and then the reaction starts. That chemical reaction is the results in ignite antimony trisulfide. Are you seeing the light on the head of the matchstick? So that is actually the chemical combination which produced into a antimony trisulfide. So this is actually a combustion process which means in a simple language burning. Are you seeing the white burnt patches? That is actually nothing but a antimony trisulfide after the combustion of the matchstick. Mostly in the monsoon season, we see that iron gets rusted. It is because the iron combines with the atmospheric oxygen as well as the moisture present in the atmosphere, which is nothing but iron combines with oxygen and water and gives rise to iron oxide. The rusting of iron, the rust is actually iron oxide. You have been recently doing one fun experiment with vinegar and baking soda, right? And we have seen the bubbles coming out of that solution. And this is actually a chemical reactions which we are going to see right now. Gives rise to sodium acetate. The solution of vinegar and baking soda reaction is sodium acetate, and the bubbles that started effervescent is a carbon dioxide gas, and because of that only your balloon has been blown. Your balloon has been filled with the gas that is a carbon dioxide gas. This is one of the chemical reaction, and the solution that is formed out of vinegar and baking soda is the sodium acetate. All right. So with this we have finished the chemical reactions and the chemical changes, and now let us see one last example of where we can see the physical change as well as the chemical change. Burning candle and melting candle can also be said as physical change and chemical change. A burning candle causes wax to melt and drip down the sides of the candle, which is a physical change, which means solid becomes liquid. Some of the wax burns, keeping the flame alive. So in this picture you can see the black soot rises from the flame, and the flame gives off the heat and light. These are all chemical changes: color, heat, light. This is a combustion reaction. So carbon dioxide gas and water vapor are also produced when candle burning, but you can't see them. So that is why this burning of a candle is actually can be called as physical change as well as chemical change. With this we have finished our changes around us lesson. I want you to go through your textbook, read the lessons completely, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me in the group. Thank you.